Well, hello. Today I'd like to talk to you about the Pelikan Style. This is my first impressions of this pen. Low cost pen, which is kind of nice. Might have to compare it to some other low cost pens. I have the feeling it's not designed as a children's pen. I think this is designed for adults, but low cost and kind of sporty looking. So let's check it out. So if you've watched my pens in use videos, you know that I have this thing I always say. I'll say, if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And this is part of that at all price points. This is a lower cost Pelikan pen. So the Pelikan Style. It's a soft touch. I think that has to do with the finish. We'll see here. It's got stuff. And then over here we've got what it is in a lot of languages. And a picture of the pen. So I really wanted, there's a purple version I thought is gorgeous, but couldn't get one. So I went with the yellow. Neon yellow. The lighting on this on the camera is actually better than it is with the what I'm using to take the picture. So taking a closer look at the pen. We've got a plastic clip. Reasonably boingy. We've got a window so we can keep track of the ink level. Decorative stripes, a finial, a pelican. And, you know, it's got that not quite rubbery feel, but definitely a squishy feel. And then the colored parts are harder. Down here we have a nib. Okay. And some straight things that might be for grip, I don't know. Open it up. It does not come with a converter. I was going to get one out, but then I thought, you know, if I throw this with my other cartridges, I won't know what brand it is, because it doesn't say. So I just decided, you know what? Let's snork it in here. One thing I like, you know, it like wants to stop there, but if I go a little further, I feel it snap into place with all the stripes lined up. So I think that's a very nice detail. Now the next thing will be, how long does it take to fill the nib? Not long at all. That was real time. I edited nothing out. So it's Pelikan Style. Oh, what is this? A medium nib? Yeah. There's an M on the nib, so we'll go with medium. I'm going to guess this is Pelikan 4001 Royal Blue. Boy, this is a wet pen. This is kind of like Pelikan's answer to Parker Quink Washable Blue. That is wet. Flex. Yeah, even if I push down a little, I don't really get any flex. This is not a flex nib. Wetness and flow. What do you think? This isn't dry here, by the way, yet. Yeah, that's just a puddle. It's not soaking through. This is pretty good paper, though. Smear test. But I'll tell you right now, I can predict what one of my complaints about this pen is going to be. Oh, good God, yeah, that's wet. It's going to be that I can't write on it with most paper. Smear test, reverse writing. That is very scratchy and wet. All right, and finally the world famous Pierre Gustafson test. By the way, only the first line where I wrote the name of the pen is dry yet. Even that didn't make the pen say, oh, no, let's slow her down. So, this may be one of those rare times in my life when I actually want to make a pen less wet. So I can't close the notebook right now without ruining the next page. So that was the Pelikan Style. I keep wanting to go style, but nope. It's Pelikan Style. It's very striking. I haven't edited the footage together, so I hope the color of this fluorescent green or yellow or whatever it is got caught well on the camera, but I kind of doubt it. That's just a very difficult color to photograph. I wanted, there was a neon purple one I thought was darn sharp, but that's okay. So, yeah, very striking looking. The whole body is rubberized, including the section. I have this weird chemistry that eventually attacks rubberized things, like they start to fall apart. Like Intuos, the Wacom Intuos styluses. My weird body chemistry just sort of pulverizes them after a couple of years of use. So, I'm not sure how long this will last, but this is also a pen I'd be happy to give away. I mean, I like it, but if you remember how I was complaining that, oh, this is a really wet pen. Yeah, it is. I now have a converter in it and a different ink, and it's still wet. Very wet. One thing I discovered putting the converter in, and I'll insert a photo here, and I'll put one in the video description too, but when you put the converter in, half of that lovely ink window is the converter mechanics. Good job, Pelikan! That's one thing I think that Lamy did very well with their Lamy Safari and their Lamy All-Star, is you don't see that. You see the full converter. You see the full converter. And this just reminds me of some very low-cost pens. And maybe, you're not meant to use a converter in it. It works, but it's a bugger to wipe that nib and section off after you fill it from the converter. So maybe it is meant to be a cartridge pen. I only own one Pelikan cartridge, so there is that. But anyway, on the whole, nice to write with. Feels decent in the hand. The rubberized grip section doesn't bother me. It looks like the nib should be able to turn, but it doesn't. I like how everything is aimed toward the nib, and it's actually aligned with the nib. That's a nice touch. But yeah, the rubber, and that's a squirrel thing. And oh yeah, I just touched my squirrel. But that's my big, that and the wetness are my two biggest objections. And again, as I've said in other videos, just because mine's wet doesn't mean yours is going to be wet. Watch several videos on this pen. See if several of us bring that up. I was looking at this as possibly a little buddy to keep on my desk and put a bright colored ink in and, correct papers at school. No, not so much, because the ink's just going to go soak right through the paper and they won't be able to read what I'm writing. So I'm not sure what the fate of this pen is. Probably goes in the giveaway box because it's not worth trying to sell. But anyway, I think it's a decent effort if the wetness is not a feature of all their pens, and very sharp looking entry into the lower cost end of the fountain pen market. So I want to thank you for watching. Oh, pocket test! Not that I will, carry it in my pocket, but if I was in high school I might. Okay, yeah, I'm having to push on the clip. It's very tight here. It just does not automatically go over the collar of my shirt. Yeah, I don't have a pocket in this shirt, so this is what you get. So yeah, I have to open up the clip to make it work. And part of that is probably the rubberized section is dragging my shirt away from it. Or rubberized cap, sorry, is dragging my shirt away from it. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.